this is just pure madness and, unfathomable in its ridiculousness and farcical nature, which is that Zarah Sultana, the Coventry South MP, purported to launch a new party last week, or purported to launch the founding of a new party last week with her co-leader, as she characterised it, Jeremy Corbyn. I, hot on the heels of that, announced that there was a small issue. Jeremy Corbyn had not consented to be co-leader, and
not ideal.
Not ideal. And in actual fact, behind the scenes had been imploring Sultana to remove her post, which immediately exploded online and went viral.
So Corbyn is when this goes up, Sultana's saying that she's going to be leading this new party with Corbyn, and almost immediately Corbyn is urging her privately to remove the post.
So he didn't agree to it at all, and I'm not sure where we exist in relation to second-hand car salesmen, but nobody has any great sympathy for journalists. I'm not soliciting it in this instance, but I got plenty of flack online from people saying this was nonsense and, an attempt by the Fourth Estate to defame Jeremy Corbyn. But this morning I published a load of WhatsApps which only deepened the evidence, confirmed what I'd reported, which is that Corbyn was implacably opposed to this venture from the outset, and he and his comrades have been seething on the sidelines ever since Sultana broke ranks to announce this venture.
And why are they so opposed, do you think?
So I think that, clearly, the serious dimension of this is obviously there's plenty of kind of groundswell of opposition to the government stance in Israel, the sort of general centre or rightward shift of Starmer's political project. There's clearly an appetite within the country for a party that can appeal to people with socialist convictions, and indeed the Muslim community, which because of the Palestine issue has felt even more neglected by mainstream politics in recent years. And the question is, well, what does that look like? And you've got plenty of tendencies and individuals, and there's lots of conversations going around different bits of the left. There's not yet been any consensus as to what it actually should look like. Should it be led by Jeremy Corbyn? Should it be co-led by Corbyn and a younger socialist? Should it be led by nobody? Should it even be a formal party, or should it be a movement or a foundation or an alliance of independents? There are all these questions about the permutations and combinations, but the long and short of it was that on Thursday night, there was a Zoom call among some leading cadres on the left who basically, have been having fairly regular conversations in recent months. But on this occasion, Andrew Feinstein, a South African socialist who ran against Keir Starmer in Holborn and St Pancras, he tabled a proposal saying, let's cut to the chase. Time's done for talking. Let's put Jeremy and Sultana and Zarah Sultana on a joint ticket, and they will run this new party. And Corbyn was on this call. So were many of his former staff and allies. They were blindsided by this proposal. They said, well, Jeremy doesn't believe in co-leadership models, but moreover, we had no idea that this was the sort of conversation you were hoping to have. We thought this would just be another iteration of the dialogue we've been having for some time. So they boycotted the vote, thereby enabling Feinstein and his confederates to vote through the idea of this new party to be led by Sultana and the man, Corbyn, who boycotted the exercise altogether. And less than half an hour, I was told this earlier, less than half an hour after that discussion, Sultana had announced the founding of a new party, and a new chapter in British politics was born, or was it? That's the question.
Or maybe a half a paragraph of British politics was born. I mean, Gabriel, where do you think it leaves the whole thing? I mean, Corbyn then spent 24 hours not saying anything to the public or externally. Then he put out a statement where he didn't actually say that he was going to be involved in it, although he sort of applauded the initiative. Where is it left, the entire thing?
Okay, I guess the simple answer is I don't know, and nor does anybody else. And I think that reform we talked about earlier is an example of a party which has managed to unite the right, or a bit of the right. I mean, obviously that's fragmented between the Tories and reform, but there's a sentiment that it represents, and it has cohered a lot of sympathy and a lot of different constituencies within the country behind its one banner. If the left wants to make inroads in the next election, it cannot allow socialist votes to be fragmented between the Greens and Independents and left Labour people, or at least its interest would be served by there being some sort of formal collaboration or organisation, and nobody's giving up on that. And Corbyn, no doubt, will be present in whatever does emerge from this time, but it has all been born in these most bizarre circumstances. And as ever, the sort of left is very given to splittism, and this venture of two people had split. Not even, literally, the very act of it coming into being led to a split and a subsequent purge where Corbyn's former chief of staff was kicking disloyal comrades out of their key WhatsApp group, and it's basically descended into total madness. And on this occasion, the left, which from time to time, may have a point. Faces, Corbyn faced some forthright opposition from within Parliament during his leadership. But on this occasion, it really is their fault, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens next.